Hey everyone, welcome to this 30-minute back bending yoga flow. So we're going to begin with an extended child's pose with your knees wide and your arms out long in front of you. Find a place here where you can completely relax and take a few deep breaths. When you're ready, rise up into tabletop position on your hands and knees. Make sure that your knees are in line with your wrists. On your next inhale, reach your right arm up to the ceiling and exhale to thread the needle and reach your right arm underneath the left side. And make sure your right shoulder and your right side of the face is completely on the floor. For a bigger stretch, you can go for a half bind by wrapping your left arm up and around your lower back. To unwind to your neutral position, ground your left hand down into the mat and inhale as you reach your right arm up. Come back to tabletop and inhale again as you reach your left arm and thread the needle again on the other side. So same thing we did before. If you do need the extra stretch, go ahead and place your right hand above your lower back. And again, the same thing we did on the other side. To unwind to neutral position, ground your right hand down and unthread the needle as you reach your left arm up above you. And on your next exhale, come back to tabletop with nice strong hands. Next, you're going to fall into a cat-cow pose and prepare to transition to downward dog. For a down dog, extend your arms in front of you, drop your belly, and lift your chin as you exhale. Curl your toes under and then send your hips up high. Right away, you're going to inhale back to cow pose, drop the knees, drop the belly, then exhale to child's pose. On the next inhale, rise up, drop the belly down, lift the chin, and exhale into down dog. Push away from the floor as you inhale and then exhale back to cow pose. For cow pose, make sure that your back is arched and your chin is up. And then exhale to child's pose one more time. Find cow pose again. Big breath in. And then when you're ready, go back into down dog as you exhale. Inhale back to cow pose. And then on your next exhale, back to child's pose. So we're creating a rhythm here, in case you haven't noticed. And one more time into cow pose. And then take the final downward dog of this rhythm. Hold and breathe as you wiggle around to settle in. On your next inhale, look up. Bend your knees as you exhale and then step your feet behind your wrists at the top of your mat. You can also interlace your hands behind your lower hamstrings for a chest expansion. Bend the knees so you can fall deeply as you interlace your fingers and press your knuckles up to the ceiling. Breathe into the stretch as you feel it in your shoulders, in your chest, as well as your hamstrings. Release your hands and bring your feet together to touch. Bend your knees, tuck your chin into your chest, and then unroll your spine all the way up to standing. This might take a few seconds, just go as slow as you can go. And when you reach up, take a couple of shoulder rolls here as you shrug your shoulders up to your ears and back down. And when you're ready, bring your hands back to heart center. Gently close the eyes if that feels good for you. Soften your shoulders and stand tall. So back bends can be a bit challenging and we tend to be a bit prideful in our practice. But just make sure that you're really listening to your body throughout this flow and you're not overstretching any of the movements. Gently blink your eyes open and find mountain pose with your arms extended up. Inhale, and as you exhale, reach your right arm back and your left arm forward. Twist open through your shoulders and activate through your fingers. Next, you're going to inhale, come back to mountain pose with both your arms up, and and then exhale to open to the left as you reach your left arm back and then your right arm forward. Next, inhale back to mountain pose. As you exhale and come into this forward fold here, lead with your chest and into your hips. Next is the halfway lift. So slide your hands up your shins and then just think of cow pose as you drop your belly and extend your heart forward. Breathe in, and as you breathe out, plant your hands and step your feet back into a high plank, and then slowly lower all the way down to your belly for low cobra. Press your legs against each other as you peel your chest up and let your hands hover. So you're going to feel this all over your back muscles. Release, press up and back into downward dog. And let's get into a one movement, one breath series. So when you're ready, on your next inhale, look up, bend the knees, and exhale as you step your feet to touch or jump at the top of your mat. Halfway lift as you inhale, and then exhale as you fold. On the next inhale, stand tall, mountain pose, and then exhale to open your arms, twist to the right. Same thing we did before. Reach your right arm back, inhale, back to mountain pose, and then exhale, open arm twist to the left. Inhale, mountain pose, exhale, fold, halfway lift, and then long breath in, exhale, and find your plank, and lower all the way down to your belly in a quick transition to cobra. Inhale, peel the chest up, hands up, exhale, release, and press it back to downward facing dog. Again, take one breath in and one breath out. And on your next inhale, look up, bend your knees, exhale, step to the top of your mat, halfway lift, breathe in, and next you're going to find chair pose. So sit deep on an imaginary chair, firm up your thighs, reach your arms overhead, and slide your shoulder blades down your back. Breathe in and out. And on the next big breath in, go to an exhale, fold, halfway lift, and inhale here to lengthen. Exhale, fold, and step your left foot back into a low lunge. So you're going to wiggle front and back here just to open up your hips for a moment. And then when you're ready, you're going to spin your back heel down and rise into warrior one pose. So you can take some time here just to get used to this pose. Extend your arms up and make sure that your hips are squared to the front of the mat. So it's almost as if your hip bones are in the same line as your shoulders. Find your strongest warrior one, inhale, and then on your exhale, open up to warrior two by spinning your back heel so it's parallel to the short edge of the mat. Make sure your front leg is bent at all times. Next, you're going to inhale to reverse warrior. So reach your right arm high and stretch through your right arm. And then take both hands to the mat and step your right foot up and behind you to catch on your toes for a wild thing. So lift your right hand off the mat and just pivot on your left foot to stretch from your left heel through your right hand. So basically your left leg is going to be straight while your right knee is going to be bent. Next, you're going to slowly plant your right hand down on the mat and pull your right knee to your chest, and then shoot your right leg out to your left side, landing on the knife edge of your foot for fallen triangle. Reach your left hand high. So from here, plant your left hand down, pull your right knee towards your chest for one breath in, and then as you breathe out, shoot your right leg back and take a traditional chaturanga, which is high to low plank. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. So it's completely normal to feel a bit confused. Just take your time here. And then exhale, downward facing dog. On your next inhale, look up, bend your knees, and exhale to step to the top of your mat. Halfway lift, breathe in, and then find chair pose. Sit deep into that chair pose. Reach your arms overhead. Slide your shoulder blades down. And then one big breath in as you exhale, fold, halfway lift, And then exhale, fold and step your right foot back into a low lunge. So same thing we're gonna do to the right side that we did to the left side. Wiggle front and back, open up your hips, and then come into warrior one pose. So same thing we did, extend your arms up, make sure the hips are squared. Inhale. Again, we're gonna feel the need to shift our hips to the side, but just keep them front, pointing to the front. And on your next exhale, open up to warrior pose by spinning your back foot so it's parallel to the mat, to the short end of the mat. One arm forward, the other back. Inhale to reverse warrior. So reach your left arm high and stretch through that left arm. And then you're going to take both hands to the front of the mat and step your left foot up and behind you for a wild thing. So you're going to lift your left hand off the mat and pivot onto your right foot. So the right leg is going to be straight this time and your left knee is going to be bent. On the next exhale, plant your left hand down on the mat and pull your left knee to your chest, and then shoot your left leg out your right side. So you're landing on the knife edge of your foot for a fallen triangle, and reach your right hand up high. One big inhale in, and then on your next exhale, back to high plank, left knee into our chest, and then shoot it back and lower your belly down all the way to cobra. Following cobra, you're gonna push against the mat and go into downward dog. So we're gonna repeat the same thing we just did a few more times, but with less cues, and you're gonna try to pick up the speed. So take one deep breath in, look up, bend your knees, exhale, step to the top of your mat, forward fold, halfway lift, breathe in, exhale, forward fold, and then find chair pose here. Exhale, fold, halfway lift, inhale, and then you're gonna exhale, fold, and step your left foot back into warrior one pose. Exhale into warrior two, inhale to reverse warrior, and then take both your hands to the front of the mat for a wild thing. So your right leg is gonna go to the left side, left leg is straight, and your right knee is bent. Plant your right hand down on the mat, pull your right knee to the chest, and then shoot your right leg out your left side. Breathe in into plank, pull your right knee into your chest, and then come back all the way down to cobra. So for the next pose, you can either take child's pose for a bit of a break, or you can push away to downward dog. Same thing here, less cues, pick up the speed. On your next inhale, look up, bend your knees, exhale, step to the top of your mat. Halfway lift, breathe in, forward fold, and then find chair pose. Exhale, fold all the way, and then halfway lift, big inhale. On the next exhale, fold and step your right foot back into warrior one pose. Exhale into warrior two, inhale to reverse warrior, and then both hands go down to the front of the mat for a wild thing. So your left leg goes up and back to the right side. Plant your left hand down on the mat and then shoot your left leg out your right side for a fallen triangle. When you're ready, plank position, left knee into the chest, straight back, and then lower your belly into cobra. We're gonna take a bit of a break here so you can go into your puppy pose or your child's pose, and you can pause this video and take it for longer. But whenever you're ready, come up to downward dog. We're gonna do less cues, faster this time. Inhale, look up, exhale, jump forward, halfway lift, forward fold, chair pose, exhale, fold, halfway lift, exhale, fold, and then left foot back to warrior one. Exhale into warrior two. Inhale to reverse warrior. Both hands down to the front of the mat for a wild thing. So right leg goes up and back to the left side. Plant your right hand down on the mat and then shoot your right leg out your left side for a fallen triangle. Come back to high plank, right knee into the chest, and then right knee straightened, lower your belly to cobra. Back into downward dog, last time. So inhale, look up, exhale, jump forward, halfway lift, forward fold, chair pose, hands extended, exhale, fold, halfway lift, inhale, exhale, fold, right foot to the back to warrior one, exhale into warrior two, inhale to reverse warrior, both hands down to the front of the mat for a wild thing. So left leg goes up and back to the right side. Plant your left hand down on the mat and then shoot your left leg out to your right side for a fallen triangle. And then back into plank with your right knee into your chest and cobra. So we're done with this part of the flow. We're gonna move on and do a few more movements. If you want, you can go straight into child's pose here or take a downward dog. As you can see, I'm just gonna be cycling my legs for a while, and this is the time where you can catch your breath if you've lost it throughout the past few minutes. And when you're ready, you can go down to puppy pose. So make sure your hips are nice and high. If this doesn't feel that great, you can go into child's pose. And as you can see, my arms are extended forward, my forehead's on the mat. And for a bigger stretch in your shoulders, you can either go on your fingertips or you can go into prayer position with your hands. So pray your hands and then fold all of the fingers except the index one. And then place your arm or your hand right behind the back of your head. So you can lower your hips now and go into child's pose. Make sure the knees are wide open so they're on both ends of the mat, the sides of the mat. And you can choose to bring your arms down to the sides or keep them extended forward. So whatever feels better for you, you can go ahead and do that. So we're going to transition to camel pose now. Begin kneeling with the thighs perpendicular to the floor and the knees and the feet are hips distance apart. You can draw your hands up the side of your body until your palms reach the side of your rib cage. And then if this feels good and you want to take it further, you can reach your hands carefully one by one to grasp your heels. So if you need a bit more height, you can tuck your toes under. Bring your hips forward so that they stay over the knees. You can choose to let your head come back to open up your throat, or if that doesn't feel very good for your neck, you can just keep the chin tucked in. And when you're ready, carefully come back to neutral here. Take a seat on your knees and heels, close your eyes, and breathe some calm into the body. And during those moments, I focus on deep breaths. So deep breaths through the nose and deep breaths out through the nose or through the mouth. When you're ready, blink your eyes open and come forward to tabletop to set up for half pigeon. So here I just placed my right knee past my right wrist, and then you need to find the shin placement that works for you and that allows your weight to be even above your hips. And you're just gonna lower into this huge stretch here for a couple of deep breaths. Keep your arms extended forward and just focus on deep breathing. If this doesn't feel very attainable for you for now, you can just go into figure 4 stretch. Start walking your hands back up and curl your back toes under to lift up into 3-legged down dog with your right leg in the air. And then bend your right knee, open up your hips, and slowly catch yourself in flip dog. So keep both knees bent and lift and open through your hips and your heart. And reach your right arm to the top of the mat. Mindfully come back to downward dog and then drop down to your knees to take half pigeon with your left leg. So same thing, left knee to your left wrist, find the shin placement that you found on the other side and lower slowly into this big stretch with nice deep breaths. Start walking your hands back up, curl your back toes under, and then lift up into a three-legged down dog with your left leg in the air. Bend your left knee, open your hips, and slowly catch yourself in flip dog. With both knees bent, lift and open through your hips and heart and reach your left arm to the top of the mat. Mindfully return to down dog and start pedaling out your legs and your hips. So just nice small bends in the knees, and then step your feet all the way towards your hands to take a seat with your feet extended forward for a seated forward fold. Give a tiny bend in your knees here and walk your hips side to side to tilt your pelvis forward. You're going to keep your toes flexed towards your face. Inhale and extend your arms over your head to lengthen your spine. And as you exhale, hinge at your hips and fold over your legs and allow the spine to round naturally. Come back up and you can extend your arms above your head one last time. And when you're ready, you're going to lie down on your back to prepare for a bridge and wheel pose. Bring your heels close enough to your hips so that your fingers can touch them. Make your legs hip distance apart. And now you can start by tilting your tailbone up, lifting your hips and spine off the mat. Push away from the mat with your feet by working your legs, and you can add a chest expansion here by interlacing your fingers underneath and pressing down your forearms and your pinkies into the mat in order to lift a little higher. Release your hands first and then slowly lower your spine and your hips to the mat. Let your knees fall open and then take one hand to the heart, one to the belly, and give your lower back a chance to reset. Now for the next pose, you can follow along with me for a wheel pose, or you can modify it by just repeating the bridge pose again. So for a wheel pose, pull your knees back to hip distance, feet flat on the ground. Place your hands next to your ears with your fingers pointing towards your feet. And on an inhale, lift up to the crown of your head. And as you exhale, slowly straighten your arms and legs to lift up the rest of the way. So for this position or for this pose, make sure that you're maintaining a calm and deep breath and that you're definitely not overstretching. So you shouldn't be feeling any kind of pain whatsoever. Slowly lower back to the crown of the head and then all the way down to lying down position. And then take the same position that you took before with your knees falling to the sides. So I'm just doing a slight lower back stretch here. You can add that if you want instead of the knees to the sides. So with your knees pulled back together, bring your right knee to your chest and prepare for half wind pose. So we're going to pull the right knee into your chest and you can feel here a very slight stretch in your lower back. So nothing is too intense. And then you're going to reach your right arm straight out from your side and pull your knee across your body for a deep lower back twist. Breathe into the stretch and try to keep the extended arm on the floor as you turn your head to the opposite side. You're gonna gently come back up with both your knees bent in, and then straighten and lower your right knee. Bring the left knee towards your chest. Pull it in again to feel that nice slight stretch in your lower back. And start doing the same thing you did on the opposite side. So bring that left knee towards the opposite side. Lower it across your body. And just allow this nice twist in your lower back to happen. Bring your knees into your chest, and you can start by hugging your knees. Hold on to your hands and add a bit of a rocking motion here. So just give your back a bit of a massage. And then we're gonna move into happy baby. So you're gonna hold on to the big toe and then bring the legs out, keep the knees bent, open up at the hips. And you can add a rocking motion here as well, or if this feels good enough, you can just stop there. Now bring the feet flat together. Again, opening at the hips. When you're ready, we're going to extend our arms and legs out long. We're going to close our eyes and release to our final pose, Shavasana. Keep the palms facing up and allow yourself to completely relax from head to toe, focusing on deep breaths in and deep breaths out. Now bring your awareness towards your surroundings by wiggling your toes and your fingers. And you can come to this nice stretch here if you still feel like you need a bit more. If your back is feeling slightly achy, you can go into this nice, gentle spinal twist. And as we end this, please remember that no matter how different we may seem in our practice or in our lives, there's always a piece in all of us that we share. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Thank you for joining me today, and I'll see you soon. Namaste.